Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from in the world. My name is Naomi Empowers, and it is truly my privilege and my honor to welcome you to another episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. We do this every single Sunday at 8 p.m. British summertime, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and midday if you are on the West Coast. The Naomi Empowers Show is really all about bringing you some life lessons, inspiration, and empowerment for the week ahead. We interview entrepreneurs about their most valuable life lessons. You see, I believe that there is so much value in sharing the knowledge and the lessons that are floating around within our community behind or in the minds of successful people in our midst. And here at the Naomi Empower Show, we aim to peel back the layers so that we can get to know a bit more about the people behind the success stories, and then share that knowledge so that you and everyone else who's watching, no matter where they are in the world, have the opportunity to grow. So as usual, I want to welcome you all to the show. Please do let me know where you are tuning in from. We'd like to know who we have joining us this evening. And I want to first of all say welcome to Bianca. Hello, my dear Naomi. Bianca, I am doing incredibly well, thank you. How are you? I truly do hope that you are doing well yourself. Let me just say something, actually. I know Bianca is not in the UK, but I am definitely one of those people, and I'm prepared to be shot down for this. I am one of those people who is so happy that the weather has changed here. Now, I don't know about you, but the past week or so that we had that crazy heat here, it was too much for me. I didn't like it. I hated it. Yes, I traveled to Ghana, I traveled to Grenada, and I love the sun there. There's a lovely breeze that accompanies the beautiful sunshine. But here, it was stifling. Couldn't breathe, couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything. It was absolutely awful. But now, thank God for the rain. The rain came down, the storm was brewing, and now we have temperatures that we can actually function in. So it is wonderful to be back to a level of normality in the wonderful British Isles. Okay, so that's that with the weather. I wanted to let you all know something as well. I'm quite excited because I have launched something new. I decided that it's not enough to just be sharing lessons from entrepreneurs on this platform. I wanted to start up, create an environment, an online environment where people who are interested in entrepreneurship, whether they're thinking about starting, whether they're trying to grow, scale their business, can come together and really support one another. So I wanted to introduce to you all something that I have very recently created and launched. It's called the Entrepreneur Support Network, and it's going to be the #1 online community for successful entrepreneurs. And so for those of you who are out there who either are thinking of starting up a business, or maybe you're a small to medium-sized business owner already, then please go over to Facebook and search the Entrepreneur Support Network, or if you're on either of my personal or my business Facebook page, click the header and you can get added to our network, where you'll be able to receive expert guidance, support, accountability, camaraderie, and free training. It is going to be an incredible time when we're able to bring like-minded entrepreneurs together so that we can grow and we can develop and we can achieve our goals together. Let me just pop over to the comments. Hey, Melanie, thank you so much for joining us. And to those of you who are watching on Facebook, please do go ahead and press the share button somewhere on your screen and invite others to come and join us, because we have an exceptional guest who is coming up in just a moment. And for those of you who are watching us live on YouTube, please do go ahead and press the subscribe button. And don't forget to click that little notification bell so that you can be notified every single time we go live with another exciting episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. So anyway, enough of that. On to today's show. I'm really excited about the guest that I have on today. This is one of my newest friends, everyone. And in fact, we are apparently, no, not even apparently, it is almost a fact that we must be distant cousins. But we'll get on to explain why that is in just a moment. Oh, Melanie, I'm so glad that you think so. So please, if you have any other entrepreneurial friends who are trying to grow in business, let's talk about it for a minute. Entrepreneurship can be lonely. When you're trying to build your business, you may be surrounded by people who don't understand, who wonder why it is that you don't just go and get a normal job and do the average thing like everyone else. And if you're in that position and there's no one to really bounce ideas off, that can be quite tough. So I've created that environment so that people like us can come together and we can grow. Anyway, back to my guest. I am so sure that we are somehow related somewhere along the lines. I can't believe I haven't known her in all of these years, but she has such a really inspirational story that I'm so excited to be able to introduce her to you so that you can get some of that inspiration as well. In fact, I'm not going to tell you anything else about her. However, I am going to play for you all a short clip for you to get an idea of the incredible woman that I'm about to bring to your screen right now. And after this video finishes, the next face that you will see, and perhaps even the next voice that you will hear, is none other than the amazing Keisha Morgan. Stay tuned, guys.
I think the thing that I will be remembered for, my legacy will be my big, brave heart and my ability to just find the positive in absolutely any situation that life throws my way. I think people will remember my passion. They will remember that I cared and that I listened. I'm here for the people. I'm here to spread my light and make people happy and to spread positive vibes and to connect and to love and to give and to take care of people. And I hope that's the thing that people remember, that when they remember me, they will smile and they will say she loved big and she gave absolutely everything she had to shine her light in this world.
Hey, Keisha, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. So much better now that the sun has, decided to hold it down. It was a bit too much before. I couldn't cope.
Oh, I was loving the sunshine. I'm hoping it's coming back.
Well, listen, I swear to you, I feel like I always had heat stroke. I swear I was suffering at one point. I think I shared it last week that my cousin and I were out lounging in the sun in the park, and I literally thought I was going to die. That thing finished me. So if it does come back, I will be taking it in moderation for sure. But Keisha, it's so wonderful to have you joining us on the show. And Bianca, thank you. For those of you who are on Instagram, please do connect with Keisha at Keisha Wiggle Waggle. And we're going to be learning a little bit more about what that actually means. But thank you very, very much. And Bianca says hi, Keisha.
Hi, Bianca.
So Keisha, I know that it's only been a few weeks that we've been communicating. You were recommended by a mutual friend of ours, and I'm really glad that he introduced me to you. And I do this to everyone who comes on the show. Like, I've had the privilege of having an insight into your inspirational and such a powerful story, but there are people on here, whether live or on the replay, who are connecting with you for the very first time. So the floor is now yours. I would like you to introduce yourself, but not the humble version. I want you to pull out all the receipts and let the people know just how fabulous you really are. Over to you.
Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Keisha, as it says on the screen there, and I am 41 years old. And I love the title that Naomi actually gave me. I am a creative entrepreneur. I never quite had a title for what I do, so I'm claiming that one, and that's what I'll be called from now on. So I basically am running my own business called Wiggle Waggle, where I teach early years music and movement classes to under fives. And I teach that in schools and nurseries and children's centres. And as part of that, I also do children's parties. So I provide children's party entertainment. and I teach baby ballet. I'm also a certified Zumba instructor. I teach Zumba to adults, I teach Zumba to children, and I'm also a wedding singer. And pre-COVID, I was singing at weddings. There's not been many weddings at the moment.
Keisha, let me interrupt you just there. Maybe we can have a little taste of what it is that you do in weddings. Since there haven't been any, weddings like that, maybe you might just like to bless us here on the Naomi Empower Show. No pressure, no pressure. Keep going.
Maybe we'll get there later when I'm a bit more warmed up. So I do lots of different things, but I guess I'm kind of an entertainer. Singing and dancing, that's who I am, and I do lots of different things under the Wiggle Waggle umbrella. My company I started 4 years ago, and it grew much faster than my business plan and projections thought it would. And last year I had a fantastic year, and I was very lucky to be nominated for the Brilliant Business Award in Hammersmith and Fulham. And thank you. And there were over 3,000 companies, and I made it to the top 5.
Wow.
And
sorry. Please, let's not gloss over that. Let us go back a little bit, and can you tell us that again? We need the impact. Go again. How many companies were being assessed?
I think there were actually 3,353 companies, if I remember correctly.
Who's counting?
Yeah, and I was a finalist, so I was in the top 5 out of those. And I was nominated for Best Fulham Business, and I got to go to a fancy dinner and walk down the red carpet. And although I didn't win, it was such a fantastic achievement. And the judges said, look, you're up against big companies with big teams, and you're just you. So they were like, please come back next year and smash it and win it. So I felt like I was on a path to go to the next level, and I was just looking at taking on staff and changing from a sole trader to a limited company, and then COVID happened, so we kind of paused. I love a red carpet. I mean, I think that's the first time I've ever been on one. I felt very special. It was a really nice, it was a nice achievement and a nice acknowledgement of what I do. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm kind of ready to go to the next level. My business is well established in this borough, but I think now it's time to grow, expand, and that is the plan.
Amazing. Well, Keisha, thank you, and congratulations. I know we've spoken offline, and I've been amazed by what you've been able to achieve, but I must publicly congratulate you for doing such an amazing thing and having such an amazing accomplishment. However, I know that there is so much more to the story, which is perhaps why, my praise of you to some people may seem a little out of the ordinary, but I'm sure that as the show goes on, this episode goes on, people will really understand why I am absolutely in awe of you. So Keisha, I really want to know, this show is built around one fundamental question, and that is, what would you say is the most valuable lesson that you have learned while on your journey?
Yeah, that is a really good question. I mean, there's probably a couple of things. I think the biggest thing I've learned along the way is to embrace the fear. I think I've learned to use fear as the fuel to keep me going. So it's quite natural to be scared of new things. I mean, even doing this interview, I sing, I dance, I can sing at a wedding, I can sing on a stage, and there's no fear. But when I have to speak, there's lots of fear. So I try really hard to do things that feel uncomfortable, to push through that fear. And I've learned not to be afraid of the fear. One of my friends always says fear is false evidence appearing real. So really, once you confront it, once you sit in it and say, oh, this is scary, but I'm still doing it, you actually find it's not as scary as you thought it was. Like, I was actually quite nervous about doing this, and now I'm here. It's like I'm just having a chat with my old friend Naomi. So I think it's important to grab onto that fear and hold it and take control of it. And then the other thing is to just keep going. And anyone who knows me and follows my social media, I'm quite often described as a sparkly unicorn and just living in my rainbow cloud. And I am quite a positive person, and not everybody loves that. But but my motto, I post it a lot, and it is just keep going. No matter what is thrown at you, you just pick it up and keep going. Like you don't really have another option. You're not going to lie down and not get up again. So yeah, I just say just keep marching on, just keep going, or I say just keep swimming like Dory.
Now, Keisha, with these two lessons, you've done something a little bit different. We don't normally have the two lessons right at the beginning, but we're going to go with it. That's fine. Okay. I'm just thinking about where to go first, and I think I'll probably pick up from where you just left off. That idea of just keep going, and I really want to. Oh, let me just bring in this comment. Climb the mountain. Absolutely. And Bianca is taking a quote out of my recent book, Success the Inside Job. But it's the exact same sentiment. And you're right, that life will throw curveballs, all sorts of things will happen in our journey. But you said something. You said, we said, what other choice do you have? You're not exactly gonna lie there and not get up. But you know what, Keisha? And there are people who actually do that. There are people who get knocked down. Life, knocks them a bit. They fall down and then they don't get up. And I think for this part of the show, I want to know what has happened in your life that could have derailed you, that could have knocked you down, maybe did knock you down and throw you off course. I just really want to understand where that lesson about the importance of keeping going, where that really comes from. So give us some background. Help us understand.
Yeah, I'll give you that. There's quite a lot of background, so I'll try to give it to you. And it's probably again, I have a big presence on social media. Oh, thank you. I have a big presence on social media, and I mainly use it for my business and promoting, and then just sort of sharing positive quotes and things like that. But I don't really talk about my personal life very much. Okay. And when I talk about my journey and things that have happened, people are always shocked, and they say, but I don't understand. How have you got a business? How have you done this? Why are you always smiling and sparkly? But what I've realized recently is actually I need to share these things because we all have things happening.
I've got a question. Sorry, I know I just asked a question, but the next question is that intentional? You said you don't often share things that are happening in your personal life. Is that intentional? Did you make a conscious decision not to?
Yes and no. I'll get into a bit of my story later, but my younger daughter had an illness, and I made a decision at that time not to have her on social media and things like that. We started working with the charity, and they actually drew her as a cartoon, and they use her as a cartoon version. And it's just because I thought when she's older, I don't want her to Google herself and find her connected to all the other stuff. So I just keep my children off social media. I've got 2 daughters, and I guess it is intentional. And also, I don't like to dwell on any negativity. So I like to give all my energy to the good, positive things that are happening. And if crazy things pop up, I just tend to say, I'm just going to look over here at the positive things and just keep going. Okay. So I'm not somebody who moans and talks about, well, here are the 7 crazy things that have happened to me. I just think it's my mindset. So I guess my journey kind of began. I was happy and just a ball of sunshine as a child, and I was just bobbing along happily. I think I was singing in Holloway Choir. And then at 19, I had quite a major car crash, and I had to be cut from the car. I was knocked unconscious on my 19th birthday, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I broke my ankle and my hand, and I had to have a bone graft on my knee. And I mean, it was quite a serious accident. And my injuries meant that had I not been found quickly, I probably would have bled out there.
Wow.
From then, I knew that there was an intervention. There was something that saved me that night. There's no earthly explanation as to how I survived a crash that serious. So from then, I kind of knew like there's something bigger looking out for me, and you've just got to be grateful and keep going. But it was quite a major accident in that I knocked myself unconscious and I had a brain injury, and it left me with something called antegrade and retrograde amnesia, which means I don't really remember the accident itself. I'm just telling you from what I've been told.
Okay.
And then I also have problems forming new memories. So people who know me well and people I speak to every day, like our mutual friend, they will know that I say the same thing 7 times, and then you have to remind me that I've already said that, and like little things like that. And I always carry a notebook, so I write important things down, and I've just learned to almost hide it and sort of not let people know. But I went through, it was quite a long recovery, about a year.
Okay.
It interrupted my degree. I was just about to go to Spain. I was studying Spanish with business, and I was about to start a job in Spain, and then I couldn't go because of the accident. And so it kind of changed the trajectory of my life at that point, because I never finished the degree. But now I think it was all meant to happen the way it happened.
Wow.
So my journey kind of began there, where I had medical problems that I had to then deal with as a result of that accident. And it took quite a few years, but I was like, I don't want to be defined by that. For years, I was kind of known as Keisha, who had that major accident and who's got metal in her and who can't walk properly and who's got nerve damage in her leg and who's got a funny brain. And, you know, and I just thought, I don't want to carry all those things around with me all the time.
Yeah.
So I just, from then, I was just like, you just have to keep going and you have to be grateful. I felt really grateful to be alive.
Of course.
I think that's where that lesson came from, that I really am someone who's excited about life, and I'm excited every day. I get up and I say my morning mantra, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here again, let's go. And that is really how I live my life. And then I had to drop out of uni because of the medical situation, and then I had my first baby when I was 23, which obviously was a wonderful surprise, but my family probably thought, what are you doing? I think she was a gift and a blessing. So again, it just things just changed path then as well. And then when she was born, she had a medical condition called polycythemia. And thank you, Bianca. I think so too. I like to think so too. She had a medical condition called polycythemia, which is from the sickle cell anemia family. It affects your red blood cells, so they can't flow freely. And at 2 days old, she had to go into special care baby unit and have a blood transfusion and all sorts of things. So again, I just, when I brought her home and she was well, I just felt very grateful. And I felt again, like this is another reason why you've got to live every day like that is the only day you have, and you've got to give everything.
Keisha, I'm, you know, gosh, brand new baby, 2 days old, blood transfusion. They say that hindsight's 20/20, right? So on the other side, you can look back and maybe talk about it with a smile, perhaps, and have all that gratitude. But I really want to know, what was it like being in that situation? Because, you know, I remember when I gave birth, I didn't want anyone to take that baby out of my arms. So you think that I have to hand my newborn over to have quite a, gosh, I don't even know the word to describe what type of procedure that would be for a newborn. How did that make you feel, and what impacts did it have on you within the actual moment?
It was very, very scary. And it's like you say, you're on a ward with all the other mums who have their baby next to them, and they left me on the ward, but they took my baby. So, you know, I'm sleeping next to an empty cot and she's in special care baby unit. And it was, I remember it was really difficult. And eventually they moved me up to special care baby unit so I could stay up there with her when she had the operation. But yeah, it was really hard. And I was young. I was a young mum, and, you know, I was full of beans and really excited about it, but it was scary. But I kind of just took it all in my stride. Again, I mean, I think I am quite a strong personality. I am naturally bubbly. I am always looking for the positive. That's kind of always been there. The car accident affected my mood and had an effect on my personality. I felt like for a few years afterwards, I wasn't quite right, which was probably caused by the head injury. But I still had this strength in me that was, you just keep going. And that was there. So, you know, once I had her, I just got on with it. I started a new career in banking, which I did for about 14, 15 years. And I was always singing and dancing on the side.
Yeah.
But now I look back, because I was thinking the other day, like, when I do my job now, I love it. And I'm like, this is what I was born to do. I'm so happy. Why didn't you do this when you were 17? But I think when you're 17, you feel like you need a serious job,
Oh, yeah.
a grown-up job. Well, you know, your parents say, get a real job.
Yeah.
Singing and dancing and shaking maracas for a living, that's not a real job. So, you know,
I went through the same thing. Like, I remember, similarly to you, I was in the music industry since I was 16. And I remember thinking, yep, I'm set. This is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. I ain't going to uni. I ain't none of that. My parents had other ideas. And I'm like, Dad, I remember him saying to me, yeah, you can sing, but what is your real job? Like, what are you really going to do with your life?
Yeah, it was exactly that. But I feel like even when I went to uni, my heart wasn't in it. I mean, I studied music and languages. That was my thing the whole way through.
Yeah.
But really, I should have gone down the music route straight away. You know,
Okay.
I played the piano, I sang, I played the flute, I was in choirs, I was made of music and dancing, but for some reason I thought, oh, languages is more sensible, so let's try that. But then after I had my first baby, I went into banking, and I stayed there for many years, and now I look back, I think, okay, I got good things out of that time that have now helped me set up my business. But actually I had a bit of a tough time in banking, and I won't name the banks because I don't want to get into trouble. But
yeah, we don't need any of that attention, please.
Yeah, I don't want legal action. But I worked for a few different banks, but it kind of ended with a case against them for bullying, which involved racial harassment. And again, that's just another example of something I had to go through. It took 2 years to get through that process, and when it went to the first level, I didn't win, and I took it to the next level, and then I won. And you know, that was a really tough fight, and that's something that I've never discussed publicly, really, because I'm not supposed to. I feel that I'm not naming the bank, and I've worked for several companies, so
sure.
But that was a really tough time, and I was pregnant with my second baby during that process.
Oh, no.
But it was one of those things, because I've seen that in the workplace, that bullying, that institutional racism, that underlying issue, and you never want to think you're being treated differently because of that. You know, I thought, okay, it could be because I'm a solo parent, or it could be because I'm a woman, or it could be because of what I look like, you know. But I think it became quite clear what the issue was, and you know, so many people said to me, just leave it. Why would you go up against a big company like that? But I have this thing about fairness, and it's not fair to treat people differently for something that I have no control over, and I'm good at my job. So that's just not fair. It did make me a fighter. It did. So, you know, I'm sad that I had to take it to that place, but I just wanted justice, and I'm glad that I got it. But while I was going through that process, I started to think, who am I, and what am I doing in this business where they just don't see me? And it was kind of a theme that I had in my life growing up. I am a ball of happiness, and you know, I think I'm great, and I have confidence and everything. But I think we are all looking for validation. And I think all the things I was doing, I kind of wanted someone to say, well done, you've done really great. And I didn't really have anybody doing that. And I think sometimes that's why we make bad choices when we're choosing life partners and things like that, because those holes will come out. You know, if you're looking for that pat on the head and looking for that validation, there are some bad people who are going to see that and then take advantage of it. Thank you. It was, I can look back and say it was definitely the right choice, that I didn't let it go, but it was a hard choice to make.
Keisha, I want to know. I want to dig a little bit deeper, and I know this was not the plan for where the show was supposed to be going. We said we're going to let it go wherever it goes. But I want to know a bit more about what you mean by that. Not having that validation, and it leading to making less than ideal, let's call them, choices in life partners. What do you mean by that? Explain that for us. How do the two link?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm someone who I'm always working on myself. I'm always trying to understand myself, and I read books and I do courses online and things like that. So I learned very early on that if you don't get a lot of outward expression of love when you're growing up, like for children, what children need is lots of hugs and lots of love and lots of validation, and to know that they are worth something, and to know, like what Paul was saying about your gold, like they need to know what that gold is, and they need to know that you see it and you think it's awesome. And if you don't have that, you kind of grow up thinking, what is my gold? What is my light? What is, why am I here? And who
What
thinks
makes
I'm
you
good?
special?
Yes, exactly. So even though I thought I am a good person and I've got lots to offer this world, you're still looking for someone else to say, yes, you are a good person, and to validate that and to give you the pat on the head. So when you don't have that, you tend to look for partners who are also emotionally unavailable, and who also don't give you any validation, but it feels comfortable to you to not get validation. So you stay there and you repeat that pattern again and again. And I repeated that pattern many times until in my 30s, I studied it and I understood it. And then I was able to not do that anymore. But yeah, that's where it comes from. And even now, I mean, I must say I did a lot of work on myself in my early 30s, and now I would say I'm like a whole, well-rounded, healthy person. So even now, when I feel like I need the validation, I pat myself on the head and I tell myself, well done,
That's right.
that is the progress. But I think kind of late 20s, early 30s, and with the breakdown of the relationship with my daughter's dad, that's kind of when everything I'd been carrying, because I kind of was happy and bubbly, keeping going through all these things, but I had this little ball of confusion and hurt and sadness that we probably all carry, and I put it in a little bag and I pushed it all the way down, and I said, just leave that down there and we won't look at it. But I think when the relationship broke down, and from childhood, when the relationship broke down, I think that's when I had to get that bag out and get everything out and lay it all out on the table and say, okay, what is actually happening here? And then I kind of did a lot of work when I was pregnant with my second child, just because I thought I had my first baby really young, and I sort of learned as I went along the way. She's 18 now, and she will probably tell you that there were things that I didn't do right, and I know that there weren't, because I was young and I was learning as I go. But with my second baby, I was 34 when I had her, and I knew myself, and I was grounded, and I was comfortable, and financially stable, and it was just completely different set of circumstances. But I just thought, I want to take that bag out and unpack it and sort it all out before that baby comes, so that I can.
A brave thing to do.
Give her, well, I just thought, I don't want to carry that hidden bag around for my whole life. I want to sort it out. It's not, nobody wants to carry it. So I did lots of work then. I'm very lucky, because I've got a friend, her name is Annabelle Ogden, if anyone wants to look her up, Ogden, and she's a life coach and a therapist. But I feel like we've been friends since we were teenagers, and she coaches me for free by accident because she's my friend. So I feel like she helped me a lot through everything I was working through. And then when my second baby came, she got really poorly, with quite a serious illness. So when she was 4, and again, it is this theme of fight. I feel quite often in life I have to fight for justice and fight for the right. So exactly, I have to just keep going. But she became quite poorly with a fever and a rash, which most childhood illnesses start with a fever and a rash. But when you just know that there's something not right. Like, she was 4, but she was floppy and was like a doll. Like, I remember it was around Christmas time, and she was trying to sing Christmas carols, but she could barely lift her head up. Like, she just wasn't right. So I took her to the doctors, and they said it's just a viral infection. She continued to go downhill over 10 days. I took her 5 times in 10 days I took her to the GP 3 times, and I took her to A&E twice, because the fever was so high and she was so floppy, and just not herself. You know, a 4-year-old just usually is everywhere.
Of course, yeah.
She wasn't. And I was turned away 3 times by the GP. At A&E, they said to me, it's just a virus, like, and I said to the doctor, you know, I feel like her temperature is really high. And he said, oh, I've seen higher. And I said, her heart is beating really fast. Oh, I've seen faster. Anyway, on day 11, she was really poorly. I went back to A&E, and I had to use my serious voice. And I said, I'm not going to leave here until you check her. I said, you just look at her and you're telling me it's a virus. You need to do a blood test or a urine sample or, you know, a throat swab. There's something wrong with my child. And this was 2 days before Christmas, in 2017. So they did all those tests, and then they said, oh, your child has a serious illness called Kawasaki disease. Now, it's very interesting. Kawasaki disease is all over the news at the moment, as a complication of COVID. So lots of the children who are getting COVID, it's progressing to this thing called Kawasaki disease. So Kawasaki disease is basically when your body has an abnormal immune response to a trigger. So for the children who are getting sick now, they get COVID, their immune system tries to fight and it goes crazy, and it causes this inflammatory issue, which is really dangerous, especially for your heart. In Ava's case, I think she came into contact with strep throat. So, you know, lots of kids get strep throat. And I think when her body tried to fight off that virus, it caused this abnormal response, which was then Kawasaki disease. Now, the thing with Kawasaki disease is it causes inflammation in all your blood vessels. So all your blood vessels everywhere start to swell. And you can see it, like their hands and their feet become red and start to peel. Their eyes go red, but the last thing it goes for is the blood vessels in the heart, and it will basically, it's trying to pop them, so it will just keep going. And so 3% of, in the UK, 3% of children will die from Kawasaki disease. 28% will be left with a coronary aneurysm, and probably about half have some sort of heart involvement. So you need to be treated quickly to stop that inflammatory response. They give you immunoglobulin, so it's medicine that goes into your veins, and they give you aspirin to thin your blood so you don't get blood clots. So in Ava's case, on day 11, she was finally admitted and they started the treatment. And we spent a long time in Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. But basically, because they had turned us away 5 times in 10 days, it damaged her heart and her spleen. It's one of those things, because I was obviously happy that she,
of course, of course,
but it was frustrating because if I had to fight so hard to get people to listen to me, and it's really not cool. No one gives you a book to cope with this stuff, and you know, all the positivity in the world couldn't prepare me for the journey about to begin. It was hard because I felt like I've come here 5 times and you keep sending me away. What if I was a new mum who wasn't confident? What if I didn't keep coming back? So for a long time, that was the thing that unsettled me, that, you know, you nearly caused a major issue. So from then, we
giving me goosebumps, like literally I've got goosebumps all over my skin right now.
It's funny, whenever I don't talk about it often. I mean, I do a lot of work for the charity, so, you know, over the years I have, but even now I can feel it in me, and I don't really get emotional about it anymore. But it was a very difficult time. I mean, she got admitted 2 days before Christmas Day. Christmas Day, we were going by ambulance to Royal Brompton to check her heart. She was having MRI scans. You know, we didn't have a Christmas that year, and she was in hospital for a while. She was off school for several months. I mean, we're lucky because in her case, she had something called mitral regurgitation, which is when you have a leaky heart valve, and it's something that over 18 months it improved on its own without surgery, and her spleen returned to its normal size. But that illness triggered several other illnesses. So oh, thank you, Leanne. But that illness triggered several other illnesses, so all inflammatory illnesses. So basically your body's gone into an abnormal state of inflammation, and it causes several things. So she then got celiac disease, which is like inflammation of the gut and the bowel, and then they think that she has lupus, but me being the sort of person that I am, I was just like, no, I'm not going to accept that. And also, I know God, and God makes bodies, and God can heal things that doctors don't know about. So I'm going to try and heal her. So their answer to everything was have an operation. Let's cut out a piece of her stomach and see what it's doing. Let's put her on steroids and antibiotics. And I was like, I can't do that to a 4-year-old. So I went to I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. And she had lots of weird things, like her hair was falling out and rashes and all different things. But basically, sorry, this story's gone on for a bit long. But
go on.
The short version is I went to a private naturopath. I changed her diet. I made her gluten-free and dairy-free. I put her on supplements, fish oil and different vitamins, and I have healed her. And she is no longer categorized as celiac. The thing that they measure is your TTG, and hers was 128 and it should be under 10, and now it's 6.
Wow.
But again, it was a fight with the doctors. They struck her off because I wouldn't let her have the operation. It was a hard fight along the way, and she's under Great Ormond Street, and she has been since she had Kawasaki, and we have to go every 3 months, and she has scans, and they check her heart. They'll check her heart now forever because of what Kawasaki disease does. But now there'll be lots of my friends who don't even know this story, and there'll be lots of people who haven't heard it this way, and people always look at me and say, how do you cope with all of this? And if you meet my daughter, she is just a ball of sunshine. She's like the happiest human, and
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
I literally have made a little replica. She wakes up and she's like, yay, it's another day, maybe I'll ride a unicorn today. Like, she's just full of happy beings. Absolutely praise God for this healing. I mean, I always approach the doctors humbly, and I always say, you are an expert in your field, and I am an expert in my child. We have to work together to find solutions. I'm not trying to come up against you. You've studied for years and you're an expert at what you do, but I also know this human. But unfortunately, I came up against doctors that didn't want to work with me. And I think it's really important to look at holistic ways to heal. I think there is a place for medicine and drugs, but there's also other things you can do to support your body. The body knows how to heal. Giving it the right things, So I mean, so Ava's still on her healing journey, and I'm supporting her, but she's in great shape. Like she's doing really well. But that was probably the most stressful thing I had gone through, just because most other things I have some control in it, but that one I really
out of your hands completely.
Out of my hands. So while I was doing all of this, I was also building my business. It was really taking off. I mean, I started my business in 2016. I retrained while I was pregnant with Ava. I retrained in early years music and movement. I set up the business. I started with 3 classes a week, and before lockdown, I had 24 classes a week. And oh, thank you. Yeah, we all stand up for our children. It's what we do. It's what mums do. But so my business was, while Ava was ill and all this was going on, my business was growing really fast, and I ended up.
No, Keisha, sorry. Let's just slow this down. Like, how whilst Ava was ill, your business was growing really fast. And I also caught that you mentioned that you're doing this whole solo parenting too. So please, like, how? Because there are going to be people, I know, like, Tia is on here, my best friend in the world. I know that she will be able to relate in so many ways. I'm in the same boat, but I want to know from your perspective, how did you find the strength, the will, even the energy to be able to build and grow a business at the same time as dealing with a critically ill child, by yourself, raising, your girl by yourself? How, talk to me about that. How on earth?
But I think it's because we don't know any different. So to us, it's just normal. Like, I don't know sadly, I don't. So, we just get on with it. And I think it's really important to have a strong A team You know, like I'm really lucky that I have a good A team. You know, those people that you could call at 3 a.m. and say, my car's broken down, please save me. Leanne can say that she's done that before. Or, you know, like, oh, I've smashed myself in the face and cut my lip open, please can you take me to A&E? Which I've had friends, you know, so you've got those people who are there no matter what. And then like our mutual friend Denzel, we've been friends for like 23 years, so he's my business mentor, and he's been a major support in helping me grow the business. And I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who are more successful than you, so you can ask them all the questions about how did you get there, what do I do. You know, I didn't feel silly saying to close friends, how do I do a tax return? You know, how do I, because I didn't know. I just
why should you know if it's the first time? Why on earth should you know?
I had this clever idea to start a business, but I didn't, you know, I had no experience of doing it, and I really did learn along the way. So it really helped having him there to answer all my crazy questions and to mentor me and to help me grow and to help me think outside the box and bigger. Because one of the things he's taught me, well, one of the many things he's taught me is that, you know, I'm thinking about my business on this scale, and I'm like, yay, I've taken over Hammersmith and Fulham, I've got 24 classes a week, I'm great. And absolutely, I couldn't without the A team. I couldn't. Then I really would just be lying on the floor, not getting up. But yeah, it's like I'm thinking of my business on this scale and saying, hey, look what I've done. I've got 24 classes. I teach 7 days a week. And he's like, okay, but what if there were 25 Keishas in 25 boroughs? What if you were in 25 countries? Exactly. You have to think much bigger. I mean, yes, it's lovely that you've done all that, but what's next? So you need somebody, you know, who's holding you accountable. You need someone to push you. You need someone to help you think outside the box. So I think I've just done it with the team. And also my dad is amazing. When Ava came out of hospital, that was quite difficult, because with my business, I am the brand. So what I found is, and this is this is why I've joined your amazing group, by the way, which I'm very excited about.
Thank you.
To get that type of support, because I'm at a place where I've proved my business works. I've proved that it's repeatable. But now how do I take it to the next place? Because when I'm ill, or when my child is ill, I can't have my whole business falling and stopping just because of that. So that's what I found, that when Ava was ill, but I still needed to work, you know, my dad was great because she was off school for a while, and you know, so I have got my dad has helped me. But yeah, so you've got to build your little A team. But in that time I was working 7 days a week. I was taking Ava was under 3 hospitals. She was under gastro, she was under immunology, she was under rheumatology, she was under cardiology. We had appointments coming out of our ears, scans, and I was pushing and pushing, and I could feel in me, I think I said it several times to my close friends, I'm pushing so hard, I'm going, I think I might break. But I just kept going, and that's a life lesson that I have learned. Listen to your body, people.
All right. Okay.
Do not push like that. It's not big and it's not clever. So I pushed and pushed and pushed, and then in November 2018, I had a major asthma attack. The worst that I've ever had. I mean, I would have classed myself as having mild asthma, but I had a major asthma attack that put me in hospital.
Wow.
Was, you know, it took about 8 months to recover fully from it. It was,
wow.
I had several rounds of nebulizer, several rounds of treatment, and it, you know, it really knocked me. And it took about 9 weeks to sort of settle it, and then the recovery process after it, I think because of the amount of medication I'd had as well. But it was really, really tough. So, I mean, I thought I was going to die, and it just made me wake up and think, who are you? What are you doing here? And don't mess around like that. You can't take chances like that when you've got 2 children, and
it's fine.
You know, that's all you have. So that's when I sort of went on this major health. I just wanted to clean up my life and get fit and healthy and well. And I've lost 46 pounds now over like 3 years, and I just started doing all my boiling my ginger and my turmeric, and you know, drinking time and just taking care of me. And also within that, that's probably the first time. Before that, I was there for everybody, and I love humans, and I always say to people, I feel like I'm an alien because I think I love in a different way from normal people, and I feel like my heart is really massive and endless, and I will just give and give and give, and people are like, where is this coming from? Like, no one's giving you anything, but you can just give. And I would say, oh, it's just my superpower. Like, that's just what I do. Like, and I can give and not get anything back and just keep giving. I feel like that's what I was made to do. But after the asthma attack, that was the first time that I had to start saying no to people.
Well, that was going to be my next question, actually, because, you know, I think Paul is on here. He will be able to relate to this as well. The danger in giving and giving and giving and giving of oneself with not having much coming back in return. Like, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
Paul would always tell me growing up, Naomi, you are not the Christ. Like that, it's never left me. When I catch myself doing a bit too much in terms of giving, I hear that you're not Christ. Calm down, because you do have a limit, and you will reach a breaking point. And hopefully, you know, and it's only grace and mercy, perhaps, why you haven't gone over that limit and completely broken to the point where you can't be repaired. But absolutely, we have to watch that. You know, our when you do have this heart, it's easy to want to pour out all of what you have on the world, but leaving yourself running, not even on your reserves, running on empty, it's dangerous.
Yeah, and that's what I learned. Actually, part of love is self-love, and first you need to love yourself.
Yeah.
And you know, I say that to people all the time. First, love yourself, and when you've loved yourself, then you can love others. And you know, that's just how it works.
But so talk to me about that in practice, because I know that that's really easy to say. But how do I literally love myself first? So if I'm like you and I want to give, and if Keisha rings me at 3 o'clock, I'm there. And if Alethea calls me then at 5 o'clock, no problem, I'm there. And if Bianca calls me, I can't get on a plane right now, but we'll do Skype. Do you know what I mean? If I am that sort of person and I am giving and giving and giving, how do I literally love myself first? What does it really mean?
Well, that's the thing. I think, and it's funny because you lose a lot of people from your life when you do this. But I made new healthy boundaries.
Okay.
And I literally built myself a little bubble, and I put myself inside the bubble, and I put a fence around it. And I said to people, I have to take care of me. I have to recharge. I have to love me the way I've loved you. And people that love you should understand that.
Yeah.
And if they don't, that's their problem, I'm afraid. Because I just had to say to everybody, I'm at a time where I need to do this for me. Otherwise, I will break. So a lot of my friends who, you know, I'm there for endlessly, I could see that, you know, humans don't like change. They you know, they're going to resist it. But I had to train people to say no first. Like, no, you can't call me at 4 a.m. because I need to sleep, because I run a business and I also have to go to 27 appointments. And, you know, so no, I'm not going to answer phone. No, I can't drive you here. No, I can't pick you up. No, I can't lend you money. No, I can't, you know, and I started saying no, but feeling okay with it. And the best thing I learned was to just say no and offer no explanation. Because I don't really have to explain.
No.
So
Just
your no is completely valid.
It's I've heard it said that no is a complete sentence.
And people who know me well, it's always no thank you. I just say no thank you. And then I don't explain any further. And I think because I work in early years and we teach the children to use their words, and we teach the children to say stop, I don't like it. And you know, there were several people in my life that I had to say stop, I don't like it. I don't like how you treat me. I don't want to be used. I don't. And, you know, I feel like 2019 was the best year of my life for so many reasons.
Okay.
But I just think it's when I finally loved myself enough to take care of me first and to put
and
those
that
boundaries.
That happened in 2019 for you?
Yeah. So I think the asthma attack just pushed me to realize, I mean, I can't, the feeling of not being able to breathe is scary. But the feeling of not being able to breathe for so long was what scared me. And my dad, who kind of helped me during that time, he will now say how scared he was to see me like that. Like, for me to go to the toilet would kind of take 20 minutes, like for me to get up and slowly walk like a snail up the stairs. And you know, I was just like, I don't know what's happening to me. I tried to teach several times and I couldn't, and you know, everything had to stop for a period of time. But I just think during that time I just really knew my worth, and I just suddenly felt like, Keisha, you are special, you are important, you need to be seen. Like, stop waiting for other people to see that or say it or pat you on the head. You are that. Take care of yourself. You've lived on this planet for 40 years, taking care of everybody else, and that's lovely. But now this is your time. Love yourself.
Yeah.
And I just went on this journey of love and peace and happiness. And, you know, I really, I'm very proud of myself for what I did in 2019. It also happened to be my 40th year on the planet, and I had a big party and, you know, celebrated. You've probably seen pictures of me in a ball gown in a lavender field, but you know, I think everybody should go to a lavender field in a ball gown. You just, you know, people look at me like, why is she doing that? Because I want to. Just love yourself. So I had kind of got to this place. And that's another thing. When things are happening to me, I never say, why me? Why is this happening to me? That's not fair. I always think, what is this teaching me? Why have I been given this?
Perspective.
Absolutely. So when the thing happened with Ava, I could never really understand why that had happened to us until now. Lush, is that the lavender field?
I think so.
Please Google Mayfield lavender. The lavender will only be there for the rest of August. Please go and lay in the lavender field. Oh, thank you, Bianca. But yeah, so I'm saying everything that's happened to me in my life was leading to this year.
All right.
Everything's happening. So on the 20th of March, just as we were going into lockdown, so I mean, since Ava got ill, we've kind of lived in a bubble anyway, because of her heart and different things. You know, I'm scared of viruses. I protect her.
Sure.
We kind of live a little bit in a bubble anyway. So when all the COVID stuff started happening, I was very concerned about Ava getting it. And obviously because of all the children who were getting Kawasaki, and we don't know if she could have that response again. So we had already withdrawn from the world. But on the 20th of March, I became ill. And so, well, I'll give you the end of the story first. So basically, I'm on week 21. I've had COVID pneumonia. And I am now one of the long haulers. So 1 in 10 people who have COVID go on to have neurological or cardiovascular or like some sort of complication. Barrington Bigby, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, I did not mean to full name. I mean, thank you very much. So basically I have complications from having had COVID that I'm still processing and dealing with now. So basically I'm just going to tell my COVID story really quickly. I'm aware that
go on.
An hour has gone like that. And there's me saying, oh, I don't talk. No, I don't really like talking. That was a lie. I love talking. So basically on the 20th of March, I was breathless. When I was talking, I was like having to stop and keep doing that. And I was like, this is strange. And I thought maybe it's asthma. I thought maybe it's because the world has just gone crazy. We've gone into lockdown. All my classes have stopped suddenly. I didn't get to say goodbye to all my children. And then week 2, I started coughing up blood. Now, my 18-year-old was staying with my parents because she was working. And so it was just me and the little one at home. So I started coughing up blood. But typical Keisha, I was like, no, we just have to keep going. We don't have time for blood. So what we're going to do, we're going to boil ginger and we're just going to keep going. And I tried that for 3 days and then it got really crazy. So I had to go to the hospital and they did an x-ray and they said, you have bilateral pneumonia. they obviously, that's when COVID was just starting. So they said, have you got a temperature and a cough? No, I don't have a temperature and a cough, but somehow I've got something's happening to my lungs. So they just gave me antibiotics, and then it just went downhill. And I can only describe it as actual living hell. And I would love to speak to you about this COVID clinic, because my GP does not know how to refer to said clinic.
You know what, I'll just tell you, like, I remember that's my best friend in the world. She called me. Oh my God, I've never been so terrified. And I listened, just trying to hear her talk. I had to tell her, please stop talking.
Yeah, you couldn't.
Stop. Don't try to talk. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So you said 20th of March is when you
So 20th of March I was breathless. Then 27th I was coughing up blood. By the 31st they diagnosed pneumonia, but they still weren't saying COVID because I didn't have a temperature or a cough.
Okay.
But then I went downhill into 3 weeks of coughing up blood. My lungs were vibrating, spasming, like it felt like they would sort of contract and not be able to breathe in and out. I was coughing out weird, sticky, glue-like something that I could pull out of my mouth like this. And I now know, when you read about it from autopsies, that stuff fills up your lungs and then makes your lungs go hard. So a lot of the people that were dying in that phase, that's the thing. But I just had this thing, you have to keep going, you have to get up. I got up and went for a walk every morning at 6 or 7 a.m. every day through the pneumonia, because something in me, well, we know who, was saying, you have to get up, you have to move, you have to breathe, even when your lungs are bleeding, even when it kills you to take that breath. And obviously, I mean, I had people in my corner. Our mutual friend was there every day through that, supporting me. But I think the movement, and also that I had my 7-year-old there, well, she was 6 then, and I didn't want her to really know how ill I was. I didn't really tell anyone the full extent of what was happening, except like my best friend. There's a lot of strange anomalies where your bloods are saying one thing, but basically I was getting it out. I was boiling ginger. I sliced onions and put them on the soles of my feet to draw out the toxins. I made like these little ginger wraps with ginger, honey, and flour, and you mix it and it makes almost like a little dumpling. And you put it on your chest and you sleep with it. That draws out the mucus. I was gargling Himalayan pink salt, apple cider vinegar, all the things that our parents have taught us, those things. And I was doing it all day, every day, even when I was at my worst. I mean, it got so dark, and I can't even, I've done an interview on COVID and I've talked in depth about it, but there were hallucinations, there were, I was really quite poorly. And then I went through 8 weeks of that. And when I finally thought, okay, I'm recovering, I'm getting through. And through all of this, I've got my daughter with me. I'm feeding her. I'm homeschooling her. She's logging on. We're trying to do all of that. I got taken in by ambulance once, and I had to stay the night. And that was quite traumatic. But so I kind of got through 8 weeks of it, and I thought, okay, I'm healing, I'm recovering, I'm doing it. I feel very silly now. I think I wrote on Facebook like, oh, it's day 59 and I'm starting to feel like myself again. And then I just went into this like post-virus recovery. Yeah, ginger, garlic, and thyme. I have to say, actually, since I had the asthma attack in 2018, I was doing that every day. So again, this is why I'm saying all the things that happened to me before were leading me for this. My lungs were being prepared for this. I mean, I'm an asthmatic, and really I should have been, on the list of people that don't make it. But I feel like what happened with Ava gave me extensive knowledge about this type of illness. This is not a respiratory illness. This is not like the flu. COVID is not, what they say it wasn't. No, they didn't swab me because I didn't have a temperature or a cough. So they kept saying to me, you do not have COVID. Then eventually they said, okay, we think you've had COVID. And I think about week 10, I had the antibody test and I've tested positive. I have made antibodies. So now, I know that I did have it. But then I went into this post-virus recovery phase, which they now say is your immune system. It's like your immune system is trying to fight COVID. It doesn't realize that COVID's now gone, and it's done things that have now caused further damage, quite like Kawasaki disease. So all the way through, I kept complaining that my veins were burning. I call it hot lava veins. So it feels like your blood is made of lava, and as it flows around, it's burning you. And I was getting really bad nerve pains. And I had nerve pain from my car accident because it severed some of the nerves in my leg. So I've always had some type of nerve pain, but this was like a million times worse.
Wow.
And I kept complaining. I kept saying to the doctor, I don't think my veins are okay. And Kawasaki disease is inflammation of the blood vessels. And I did so much research on COVID.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I read autopsies, I read the British Medical Journal reports, I read everything. And I said to them, this disease is attacking the lining of the blood vessels. It's going into I think they're called endothelial cells. And, you know, that's where the damage, and that's why it travels all over your body, because you've got blood vessels everywhere. So
Yeah.
it affects everyone differently wherever it decides to go. Doctors were not listening. So eventually they checked my blood, and when they took my blood, it came out like a blob, like in 2 blobs. So they were like, okay, that's strange. So when they checked my hemoglobin levels, they were too high, which means you've got too many red blood cells. Again, my first daughter in 2002 had a disease where she had too many red blood cells. So again, it was something that I knew very well. And I just, you know, when you're just like, everything just lined up. It's like, I've been training to go through this now. I've been trained for this. So I just kind of felt strong and like a soldier and like, you know,
ready.
Yeah, I was like, I know what I'm talking about. So I kept saying to the doctors, you know, there's something wrong with my blood. And then eventually they found that there was. And then I had stroke-like symptoms. So people who know me well can probably notice that I'm still slurring. Oh, that would be so great if you could. That would be really.
I'll definitely connect with you after.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what's happened. There's lots of support groups on Facebook of, you know, the long haul COVID, and we're just kind of taking care of each other. But yeah, people who know me well can probably hear that I'm slurring my words a little bit, and I am still slurring. And then I'm kind of numb. There's like numbness in my face, in my neck, in my arm, and my hand, all on one side.
You said stroke-like symptoms.
Yeah. So what they're realizing is that there is damage to veins and there's damage to arteries, and if it's interrupting the flow anywhere, it's going to present like a stroke, although you're not having a stroke. So I'm seeing a neurologist tomorrow. I had some scans done in the week, but there's lots of follow-up to be done, and I've got chronic fatigue, so I'm not back to my normal level. So I mean, through all of this, I managed to take my business online. I really don't know how or with what. Again, I just keep going.
Let me just stop you right there. So for everyone who is listening, whether you're watching live or on the replay, do you see what I mean now? Or should I say what I meant now in the beginning when I said I am just in awe of this woman, because I don't know if it were me, how on earth I would be able to continue feeding my children, continue running my business. Like I think everything would stop in my world, but somehow Keisha has managed to power through and keep going, and she's doing it with a smile. Like, she just blows my mind, honestly. Sorry, keep going.
No, but I mean, I didn't work, you know, from March till June. I was not well enough to work, but I was still, you know, I was keeping my social media going, and I was drumming up business, and I knew as soon as you're well enough, I'm going to go online. And for me, I'm not good on the tech side. So again, I had to tap into my A team and people who know what they're doing, and get it up and running. So for the last sort of three weeks, I think I've been doing some online sessions, but I'm not back to my normal levels yet. So, you know, pre-COVID, I would teach 6 classes a day, and that, you know, every day, and that was normal. Wow. But now it's like I'll teach 1 class and then I've got to have 2 days in bed to recover from it. So I'm still pushing through, but I just won't let this stop me. I just have to. Oh, thank you, the kind people making me. No, I'm very lucky that I've got kind humans in my world, especially the ones who listen to me every single day. Like, I am very lucky. So really, I'm not doing it on my own. You know, I've got people around me, but I just feel, even through all of this, I mean, I didn't earn any money for several months. My business is a bit wobbly now, but I know I can rebuild it. There will always be children. So I know I can Yeah, I mean, I don't have any stairs, but yeah, I completely, yeah, no, it is, oh, look, there he is.
There he is.
The man himself. That's a good human, a good friend, a business mentor, and just someone who's helping me grow. And that's the important thing. You need to get people around you who genuinely care and want to help you grow. And you need to just keep going. You just need to sing your way through. Should we end with a song? No, I'm joking.
Wow,
it's so crazy that I didn't know you were a singer. I mean, I don't understand what's gone wrong here.
I honestly, I can't believe that we haven't connected until Denzel connected us a few weeks back.
We're family.
Yeah, we need to let's tell them the connection. I hinted at it in the beginning. I am 100% certain that this is my cousin.
We're Grenadian. We're definitely cousins.
I'm convinced anyone who is from the island of Grenada.
Zoe, where's Zoe? Is Zoe not watching? Zoe should tell us if we're cousins. And that's another thing, because me and Zoe were very close friends. Like, we grew up together, and but anyway, I can't
even believe it. And that's my blood cousin, like on both sides. And we don't want to talk about that, but both sides, we're related on both sides. So like, I don't understand how I have not come into contact with you. It's incredible. And as you were talking, so many similarities. I even think about my own daughter when she was just born. I remember I took her home from the birth center, and she just wasn't breathing right. That's all I could say. She just wasn't breathing right. And similarly to you, I went to the GP. I went to a walking clinic. I went, and everyone was like, "Oh, first time mom, it's okay. This is just what they do." I have to admit, I think you're a nicer person than I am, and I'm sure Denzel would definitely agree. I'm a bit more like Denzel in terms of my love for humans. And so when I went to A&E, now I'm ready to fight. I'm angry now. I've been turned away by my GP. I've seen a different GP, and we don't need to know what was said, but I basically had to let them know, you lot are mad. My daughter cannot breathe. And it was only when I went mad that I was taken seriously. And they then they put the stuff on her finger and whatever, and they were like, her heart is working so hard, it will stop at any minute. That's what they told me. And so, when I was hearing you share your story, it was making me emotional, because you're taking me back to 8 years ago when I had the same sort of fight with these healthcare professionals. They are experts, as you said, in what they do, but you are the expert in your child. And I want to commend you for the fight and for your perseverance and for the way that you advocated for your children, for yourself, and the fact that you can be here and you're still standing and giving us the value that you're giving. Let me bring in some of the comments that are coming in. Keisha really helped me keep going when my partner had pneumonia and keyhole surgery last year because of it. Wow. And cheeky Denzel. Keisha mentioned she doesn't like talking. Well.
I don't know what you mean, actually. I'm very quiet. I'm a very quiet person. I don't really talk that much. No, do you know what? I think I'm really grateful to Denzel, and I'm grateful to you, because it's important to have people in your life who push you to do things that are out of your comfort zone. And I would not have done this if it hadn't have been for you too, or for him doing it, and for you accepting me. But yeah, everything in me said absolutely not. And I wasn't even sure if I would actually do it. But no, it's really important to do things that feel scary as often as you can, because now I feel empowered.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That's what we love to hear. It's funny because Denzel, as much as anyone who listens into, if anyone were to listen into Denzel and I's conversations, you would actually think we hated each other. But Denzel is by far one of my closest friends. He's one of the 3 people, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I haven't mentioned who the other 2 people were. But when Paul was on, I mentioned that there are 3 people in the world that I would go to with something serious or something important. Paul is one, Denzel is definitely another. And so when he came with your recommendation, there was nothing to even think about. It was all right, cool, yeah, let's get her on the phone. Let's make it happen. Connect us and let's make it happen. And I'm really, really glad that he did. So Denzel, thank you.
Thank you, Denzel. He's my person too.
And I know he's probably cringing right now.
He's gonna log off. He's gonna be like, why did I log on here? And then he's probably gonna defriend us and block us.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I'm not apologizing. But Keisha, listen. Well, here's one thing that's for sure. I feel like we might have to come back for a part 2 with you, because I do remember, where is it now? You talked about another lesson, embracing fear and recognizing that fear is the fuel to keep you going. But I know that, the time's run away and we haven't managed to get into all of that. And I know that there is so much more. Look at it, Denzel. Stop being like it's weird. I know it's not quite right. This is just not how we are. We're not like this. I'm telling you, people would think that we hate each other, but it's nothing but love. He loves me. Yeah, he loves me.
He loves both of us. And we love you too.
Exactly. It's mutual. All jokes aside, let's be serious now. Denzel, it's enough. No more.
Serious happen.
It's gosh, I remember, you talked about being nervous. We've gone on for over an hour watching. People are still here. Look, exactly. Bianca agrees. We definitely need a part 2. There's more to uncover. There's more for us to discuss. There are, places that we could have taken this conversation. But I just really want to know. There's so much to your story. There is so much to your message. But if people had to only take away one thing, like if they were to forget the majority of everything that you've shared and all the value that you've given today, and there was one overarching message that you wanted us all to walk away with, what would that one message be?
I think it's got to be, and I don't want to steal Paul's message, but I think it's got to be to find your light, find the thing that it is in your belly that gives you fire, the thing that you are, the thing that you were sent to this earth to do. Find that thing, know it, know your worth, and then take it and give it to the world. I just feel like you have to know your worth, love yourself, and pat yourself on the head and say, well done me. I'm great. I'm enough. I'm banging, like in the words of my friend. But yeah, I just think, I don't want to say find your gold, because I feel like those are Paul's words. but
It's all right. Give us the remix. Give us the Keisha remix.
Yeah, no, I call it my light. It's funny because my 7-year-old talks about it all the time, about shining her light. She goes to a really lovely church school, and they've taught her that, and I love that she says that. But it is, find your thing, find your light, own it, know its worth, love it, and then share it. That's my message, because we're just here for such a short time.
Yeah.
I love humans. I love talking. I love connecting with people. I love this show that you're doing. I love what you're about as a person. I feel like we should meet up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I feel like Denzel should be in part 2.
Hear that, Denzel?
Yeah, no. So on a serious note, like, find good humans, connect with them, spread your light. I really appreciate you getting me on here. It's good to talk. It's like free therapy, right?
It is. It absolutely is. Absolutely.
Invoice me.
Keisha, we've spoken a lot. You've given us of yourself. You shared some of your powerful story, because I know that there is so much more. And as we talked about, there are there's different elements that we haven't quite gone into. I didn't think we run out of time so quickly. But you also talked about your business and what it is that you do. And one of the reasons that I've created this platform is so that brilliant entrepreneurs like yourself can come on and let people know what it is that they're doing. Maybe expose themselves to a different audience. Maybe drum up some new business. So I want you to let us know how we can connect with you, how we can support you. Is there anything that you're doing that we can tap into? How can you've given us so much value. So how can we add value to your life?
Oh, that's so kind. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm at Keisha Wiggle Waggle. And at the moment, I am running some online Wiggle Waggle sessions. I'm also doing, I'm still doing my children's party bookings. I had one today, actually, before I did this. So if you need any children's party entertainment, you can find me at Keisha Wiggle Waggle. And in September, my real life classes in real life will be returning. So I think the main thing is to just follow me so you can hear all my news. If you've had to postpone your wedding and you need a wedding singer, you should also talk to me. I also know another wedding singer who might help. Actually, all three of us could sing together. Man, let's make a band. Right, that's a separate conversation.
We'll take this one offline.
Yeah, and I'm also a Zumba instructor. So eventually, I mean, there's still government restrictions. So I'm just trying to work within their really clear guidance. Oh, brilliant. Thank you. I appreciate that because yeah, it's really hard. I mean, I kind of have gone a bit private with my healthcare stuff because the NHS, I mean, I love the NHS, but they are struggling. They, you know, they're really struggling. But yeah, just find me, connect with me on social media at Keisha Wiggle Waggle. And yeah, say hi.
Brilliant. Now, Keisha, you said something a little bit earlier about, you know, ending with a song. And I'm just saying, that's what you said. I didn't say it.
Did he tell you to say that?
No, he didn't. I promise you, I have not even spoken to Denzel today. No, I've not spoken to Denzel today once. He sent me a message. It was nothing to do with this at all. But I promise you, it was nothing to do with this. You said it. I didn't say it. It was you who said it. And I just wanted to say that there is no pressure. But if the spirit moves you, then please allow yourself to be led by that spirit.
What I will say to you, I will say thank you for your time. Thank you for this amazing interview. Thank you to our mutual friend for making this happen. And I look forward to singing for you in part 2 of this.
All right. All right. Okay, guys. Well, you heard it here first. Keisha will be singing for us the next time she is on. Oh my goodness, Keisha, thank you so much for your time this evening. I really
thank you everybody for the comments and connecting and watching and for the kind words. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I always say thank you to everyone who is watching, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for those of you who've shared and invited other people to be part of this wonderful experience that Keisha and myself and all of you have just shared together. You know, it's, of course, without you all, there absolutely would not be a show to speak of. So I want to thank you for your commitment, for the same faces that we see tuning in on a weekly basis. Truly do appreciate your time. And just also to let you know that we are going to be doing this all over again next week. Oh, message from Tia.
Thank you. I will definitely connect with you afterwards.
Yeah, I'll make it happen for sure. I will definitely make it happen. We are going next week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, all the way over to LA. I'm going to be having another guest from sunny LA who will be joining us. We're going to be doing this at the same time next week, 8 p.m. Oh, another Grenadian.
It's our cousin.
It's our cousin because we're family now. It's our cousin.
Oh, thank you, Cos. Thank you.
But yeah, so everyone, we are going to be back next week with another very special guest all the way in Los Angeles. I'm excited for that show too. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Do you know what? I feel like the weeks are just flying by. I can't believe we're here another Sunday already. Look, Keisha, it seems like just the other day we were speaking about this and now it's come and it's gone. We've done it. You've done it. And as people, absolutely nothing to be afraid of. So thank you so much. And so to all of you, thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you all again next week. Be sure to tell a friend. And for those of you, again, who are watching us on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe so that you're sure not to miss next week's session. And for those of you who are on Facebook, please do like my page so that you can be notified when we do go live. That's all from me. Keisha, thank you again. And thank you on behalf of the children as well. Thank you for lending mummy to us for an hour and a half. Oh dear. Sorry. All right, everyone, that's enough from the two of us. Looking forward to connecting with you all again. Wishing you all an absolutely amazing week. Please do take the lessons that Keisha has shared and apply it into your own life, however it fits. There is true value here that has helped her to become the woman she is. And if it can work for her, it most certainly can work for you. So on that note, I'm going to wish you all an amazing evening and see you again next week at the same time, 8 p.m. British Summer Time, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and midday if you are on the West Coast. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.